Join Kids Hut Stories.
Once upon a time, in a small village surrounded by tall trees, there lived a kind and hardworking woodcutter. Every day, he would go into the forest with his trusty axe to chop wood. He wasn't rich, but he was happy with what he had. The woodcutter loved nature and took only what he needed, never hurting the forest more than necessary. One bright and sunny day, the woodcutter went to the forest as usual. He found a big, strong tree near a sparkling river and began to chop. But suddenly, as he was swinging his axe, it slipped from his hands and flew into the river with a loud splash. The woodcutter's heart sank. His axe was his most important tool, and without it, he couldn't do his work. The river was deep and fast, and he knew he couldn't get the axe back on his own. Just when the woodcutter was feeling sad and hopeless, something amazing happened. A beautiful fairy rose out of the river. She had a gentle smile and wore a shimmering dress that sparkled like sunlight on water. The fairy asked the woodcutter why he was so sad. With tears in his eyes, the woodcutter told her about his lost axe. The fairy listened carefully and then said, "Don't worry, kind woodcutter. I will help you find your axe." The fairy dived into the river, and when she came back up, she was holding a shiny golden axe. "Is this your axe?" she asked. The woodcutter looked at the beautiful golden axe, but shook his head. "No, that's not mine," he said honestly. The fairy smiled and dived into the river again. This time, she came up with a sparkling silver axe. "Is this your axe?" she asked. The woodcutter looked at the silver axe, but again, he shook his head. "No, that's not mine either," he said. Finally, the fairy went under the water one more time and came back with the woodcutter's old, worn-out iron axe. "Is this your axe?" she asked. The woodcutter's face lit up with joy. "Yes, that's my axe," he exclaimed. The fairy was very pleased with the woodcutter's honesty. "Because you were honest, I will give you all 3 axes," she said with a warm smile. The woodcutter was overjoyed and thanked the fairy with all his heart. From that day on, the woodcutter's honesty became a legend in the village, teaching everyone the importance of telling the truth.
Once upon a time, in a beautiful forest by a flowing river, there lived a clever little monkey. Every day, he swung from tree to tree, enjoying the delicious fruits on the riverbank. But little did he know, an adventure with a tricky crocodile was waiting for him.
Join Kids Hut Stories.
One sunny morning, a crocodile swam up to the tree where the monkey was eating juicy mangoes. "Hello, little monkey," called the crocodile with a friendly smile. "Those fruits look tasty. Would you share one with me?" The monkey, kind and generous, threw a mango to the crocodile. This small act of kindness started a unique friendship. Every day, the monkey would share a fruit, and the crocodile would enjoy a tasty snack while they chatted about life. One day, the crocodile's wife heard about his new friend, the monkey. She had a greedy thought. "If the monkey eats sweet fruits every day," she said, "then his heart must be the sweetest thing of all. Bring me the monkey's heart as a special treat." The crocodile was shocked, but he loved his wife and wanted to please her. So, with a heavy heart, he decided to trick his friend into coming to his home. The next day, the crocodile invited the monkey to his house across the river. "You'll love it there. We have even more delicious fruits than these," he said with a smile, hiding his true plan. The monkey, curious and trusting, agreed. But since he couldn't swim, he hopped onto the crocodile's back to cross the river. As they reached the middle of the river, the crocodile couldn't hold in his plan any longer. "Dear friend," he said, "I have to be honest. My wife wants to eat your heart because it must be so sweet from all the fruits you eat." The monkey was shocked but quickly came up with a clever idea. "Oh, my friend," he replied. "If only you had told me sooner. I left my heart up in the tree. We'll have to go back and get it." The crocodile believed him and turned around, swimming back to the tree. The moment they reached the shore, the monkey leapt off the crocodile's back and climbed high into his tree. "You tricked me, and now I know you are not a true friend," he said. The crocodile realized his mistake and felt ashamed. He returned to the river, learning that being greedy can ruin friendships. True friends are trustworthy. Greed and dishonesty can harm relationships and leave us feeling lonely. And that's the story of the clever monkey and the crocodile. This tale reminds us that honesty and kindness make the strongest friendships, while greed only brings trouble.
Hey everyone! Welcome to Kids Hut Stories. Today's story is about a mighty lion and a tiny mouse. Have you ever felt like you're so small in a big, scary world? Well, this story will show you that even the smallest creatures can make a big difference. Let's start the story.
Once upon a time there lived a lion, who ruled the forest. One day after a satisfying meal, the lion decided to take a nap under a shady tree. A little mouse saw him and thought it would be fun to play on the lion. He began running up and down the sleeping lion. He ran up the tail and slide. He was excited and enjoying a lot. The lion woke up angrily with a loud roar, and the mouse started to run. However, he couldn't escape. The lion grabbed the mouse with his huge paw. The mouse struggled but could not rescue itself. The lion opened his big jaws to swallow him. The mouse was very scared, and said in a meek voice, "O king, I'm very scared, please don't eat me. Forgive me this time, and please let me go. I shall never forget it. Maybe one day, I can return you the favor by helping you." The lion laughed as it was so amused by the idea of a little mouse being able to help the mighty lion. He put the mouse down on the ground and let him go. "Thank you, king. I will never forget your kindness," said the mouse. The lion replied, "You are lucky, my friend, that I've just eaten. Now go, but don't mess with me again, or I will make a meal out of you." A few days later, few hunters came looking for the lion and set a trap to catch the lion. The hunters hid behind the tree waiting for the lion to approach the trap, while lion was roaming freely in the jungle. As soon as the lion set foot on the trap, the hunters pulled the ropes. Whoa! The lion was trapped and it started to roar loudly. It tried hard to escape the hunters, but could not succeed. The hunters were chanting and enjoying their feast, while the lion was still roaring loudly, and all the animals including the mouse could hear its roar. The hunters were celebrating their victory a little too soon. The mouse remembered his promise to the lion and determined that he wouldn't let the king be captured. "The king is in trouble, I must return the favor," said the mouse. It soon reached the place where lion was trapped. It said, "Don't worry, my king. I will set you free." The lion was surprised to see the mouse and started to think, how can a mouse help him? The mouse climbed up the trap and used his sharp little teeth to bite through the ropes. His sharp little teeth were the perfect tool for this job. Nibble by nibble, he chewed through the thick ropes. Finally, with a snap, the lion was free. The lion caught the hunters by surprise and viciously attacked them. The hunters made a run for their lives. Then, the lion turned to the mouse and said, "Thank you, mouse. You are so little, but so brave. You are a worthy friend of the lion. I will never trouble you again, live happily in my forest. You saved a king's life. Now you are the prince of this forest." The mouse felt happy and fulfilled. It said, "Thank you, king. Goodbye for now. I will see you later." "Oh. Where are you going?" said the lion. "Don't you want to play on me and slide down my tail?" The mouse gave a happy smile to King and a tale of strong jungle friendship started. The lion and the mouse became friends forever.
So, what do you think, friends? Was the mouse a brave hero or a bit of a reckless adventurer? This story tells us, even the smallest creatures can achieve great things. So remember, never underestimate yourself, and always be kind. You never know when you might be able to help someone in need. Have you ever been able to help someone in need?
Join Kids Hut Stories.
Hey everyone, welcome to Kids Hut Stories. Have you ever felt like the only one left out of the fun? Maybe you wished everyone would pay a little more attention to you? Well, today's story features a shepherd boy who had a similar feeling, but his solution landed him in a big trouble. Let's see how a little prank turned into a big lesson.
Once upon a time there was a shepherd boy who used to take care of the sheep in a village. Every morning, he would take the herd of sheep to the top of the hill and bring them down by evening. But one day, he felt really bored. He thought that all the villagers worked together, but here I am all alone taking care of the sheep and no one else talked to me. What should I do? He took a deep breath and smiled as he got a wicked idea. He went over the edge of the hill and started shouting, "Help, help, there is a wolf chasing the sheep. Help, help, please somebody help. He is gonna eat all the sheep." The villagers heard the boys shouting and rushed up to the top of the hill to save the sheep. However, as they reached the hill, there was no sign of the wolf and sheep was grazing the grassland calmly. "You silly boy, where is the wolf? Why did you cry out for help?" asked the villagers. The boy laughed out loudly and said, "I fooled all of you." The villagers got very angry and warned the boy to not cry wolf when there is no wolf. Then they went grumbling back down the hill. The shepherd boy said to himself, "This was so much fun." The next day, the shepherd boy got bored again and decided to try the same prank again. The boy went to the hilltop and started shouting, "Wolf, wolf, the wolf is chasing the sheep. Please somebody help." Once again, the villagers rushed to the hilltop after hearing the boy's cry for help. However, this time too, the boy had fooled them. The boy laughed, as he saw villagers running up the hill again to save his sheep. The villagers said angrily, "This is not right and you would have to pay for this one day." With no regrets on his face, the shepherd boy went back to his sheep. Few days passed, and the shepherd boy was lying under the tree, while his sheep were grazing. He saw some sheep running here and there. He quickly stood up and saw a wolf approaching the herd. This time the wolf was real. The boy suddenly ran to the edge of the hill and started screaming for help. "Help, help, somebody help please. There is a wolf for real this time, he's gonna eat all the sheep. Help, please help." The villagers heard the boy shouting for help, but this time the villagers decided to ignore him as they thought he might be fooling them again. So, they didn't pay any heed to the boy's screams and kept doing their work. The boy kept on crying for help, but no one turned up this time. All he could do was stand there and watch his sheep getting killed by the wolf. One by one. It was about the sunset and the villagers wondered why the shepherd hadn't returned. They went up the hill searching for the boy. They found the boy sitting alone and weeping. The boy said in a meek voice, "There really was a wolf here. I cried for help, why didn't you come?" One of the villagers sat next to the boy and told him, "We warned you earlier, nobody believes a liar, even when he is telling the truth. You have brought this upon yourself." The boy learned his mistake and he never lied to anyone in his life again.
So, friends, the boy's prank backfired in a terrible way. This story teaches us a valuable lesson, that honesty is always the best policy. When we lie, even once, it can be hard to regain trust. The boy learned that the hard way. The villagers didn't believe him, even when there was real danger. Remember, friends, a reputation for honesty takes a long time to build, but a single lie can tear it down in an instant. So next time you're tempted to tell a white lie, remember the shepherd boy and his lost sheep. Always be truthful, and you'll build strong and trusting relationships with everyone around you.
Join Kids Hut Stories.
Once upon a time, in a peaceful forest, lived a hare who was very proud of his speed. He often boasted about how fast he could run and mocked the slower animals, especially the tortoise. The tortoise, known for his patience and wisdom, would simply smile and continue with his day, never letting the hare's taunts bother him. One sunny day, after enduring yet another round of the hare's bragging, the tortoise decided he had had enough. He calmly approached the hare and said, "Hare, you may be fast, but I believe I can beat you in a race." The hare burst out laughing. "You beat me in a race? That's impossible." Unfazed, the tortoise replied, "Let's have a race and see what happens. We'll ask the fox to be the judge." The hare, still chuckling, agreed to the challenge. The fox, known for his fairness, agreed to oversee the race. He marked the start and finish lines and gathered all the forest animals to watch. On the day of the race, the animals assembled, excited to see the unlikely competition. The hare, confident and full of energy, stretched and warmed up, while the tortoise simply stood at the starting line, calm and ready. "On your marks, get set, go," shouted the fox. The hare zoomed off, disappearing down the path in a cloud of dust. The tortoise, in no hurry, began his steady, determined walk. The hare, already far ahead, decided to take a break under a shady tree. "There's no way the tortoise will catch up to me," he thought. "I'll take a short nap and still win easily." With that, he lay down and soon fell asleep. Meanwhile, the tortoise kept moving at his slow and steady pace, never stopping, and always focused on the finish line. Amazed by his determination and perseverance, the other animals cheered him on. Hours passed, and the tortoise continued his steady progress. He finally reached the tree where the hare was sleeping. Quietly, he walked past the hare and continued toward the finish line. The forest animals, seeing the tortoise nearing the finish, began to cheer loudly. The noise woke the hare, who leapt to his feet in a panic. He saw the tortoise just a short distance from the finish line and sprinted as fast as he could to catch up. But it was too late. With one final step, the tortoise crossed the finish line. The forest erupted in cheers for the tortoise. The hare, panting and exhausted, arrived moments later, unable to believe what had happened. "How could this be?" he gasped. "How did you beat me?" The tortoise, smiling warmly, replied, "Hare, you may be fast, but you were overconfident. You took me for granted and didn't take the race seriously. I may be slow, but I stayed focused and kept moving steadily toward my goal. That's why I won." The hare hung his head in shame, realizing the truth in the tortoise's words. From that day on, he learned to be more humble and to never underestimate others, no matter how unlikely their success might seem. And so, the tortoise and the hare remained friends, and the forest animals never forgot the valuable lesson: slow and steady wins the race.
Join Kids Hut Stories.
Once upon a time on a sunny summer afternoon, a mother duck found a cozy spot under a tree near a pond to lay her eggs. She laid 5 eggs and waited for them to hatch. One egg was different from the others, and she worried about it. When the eggs started to hatch, the mother duck was overjoyed to see her little ducklings emerge, one by one. But the 5th egg took longer to hatch. "Oh, my darling babies. I'm so fortunate to be your mother. But I'm concerned about the last one," the duck said anxiously. "This egg is taking forever to hatch." She carefully sat on the egg, providing it with all the warmth and comfort it needed. "This one will surely be the most beautiful duckling of all, given how long it's taking to emerge," she thought to herself. Finally, the 5th egg cracked open, and a big, gray duckling came out. The mother duck was surprised and sad because the duckling was ugly and different from its siblings. She hoped that it would become like its brothers and sisters one day. But as the days passed, the duckling remained ugly, and its siblings made fun of it. The duckling was very sad and decided to leave its family and home. It went deep into the woods, where it struggled to find food and warmth. Winter came, and the duckling shivered with cold, feeling lonely and unwanted. The ugly duckling was turned away by his duck family, so he sought refuge in a hen's house. But the hen pecked and chased him away, making him feel even more unwanted. As he continued his lonely journey, he met a dog that didn't even notice him, which made him feel even more unloved. He then found shelter with a kind peasant, but even in that home, he faced trouble from a mean cat. Feeling unwelcome yet again, he decided to leave and continue his search for a place where he belonged. The duckling felt like it didn't belong anywhere. But when spring arrived, everything changed. The duckling saw a beautiful swan swimming in a river and fell in love. But it was ashamed of its appearance and hid behind a reed. Then, it saw its reflection in the water and realized it had transformed into a handsome young swan. The duckling finally understood that it was meant to be a swan, not a duck. It was different, but that was okay. It married the beautiful swan and lived happily ever after. This story teaches us that being different doesn't mean we're not special. Sometimes, we just need to find our true identity and belonging, and we'll find happiness.
If you liked the story, share this with your friends and family, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more exciting stories that teach us valuable life lessons.